And I think that's what's so hard for military is we're not good at showing our weaknesses, but when we know that someone is present and they're truly committed to being in our lives and showing up, we're more prone to opening up. And that's what people did for me when I came home from Iraq. They would just check in and check in and check in with me. And that was a catalyst to my healing. And so that's what we can do as Americans.
Ben, what is it like after being out on mission and anticipating the homecoming? I mean, is it nerve-wracking? Is it highly anticipated? Are you excited, or is it a mix of all those emotions?
Yeah, I'll put it this way. There's probably no moment that you think about more your entire tour than the moment that you get to reunite with your family and be embraced, to go and get your favorite cheeseburger, to go get a car or drive your car that you've had. You fantasize about that every day in combat. So it's probably the most anticipated moment of your tour.
We're talking about homecoming, coming home from serving your country, being on mission, being reunited with your family and reunited with culture. That didn't play out really well when the vets from Vietnam came home, did it?
No.
What went wrong there?
When I walked off the bus, Kirk, the first thing that I saw was over 100 Vietnam veterans lined up shoulder to shoulder, holding the American flag and guarding my welcome home. And as I saw the faces of men that had been spit on, that were called baby killers, that were shamed by this country, and even more, they were ignored by this country. Their medical needs were not met, and there was a blanket statement of, you do not matter and we want to forget about you. And those guys, in the midst of, protests beginning to happen in America, and most Americans have forgotten, but over 100 Iraq veteran funerals were protested in 2008 alone.
Wow.
And so while all of that was happening, Kirk, the Vietnam veterans rose up and they said, never again are we going to allow what happened to us happen to our sons and daughters. And the Patriot Guard riders found their identity. American Legion riders joined in, Rolling Thunder. And since that time, almost every welcome home and funeral has been protected by Vietnam veterans. And those men despised that shame that they were given, and they became the guardians of honor. And so that to me is just, it's unbelievable.
You created an event called Heroes Honor Festival. In fact, this is something that's been anticipated for quite a while now. So excited. Tell us about the event and what the purpose is.
Yeah, so I formed Engage Your Destiny in 2016, and it was probably 6 months after that I was at home, and I was taking care of my dad while he was passing away of cancer. And Kirk, I walked into the living room after taking him to a treatment and coming back to the house, and there's no other way to put it, but I had this encounter with God. And for the first time in my life, I actually saw a vision, and it was this massive stadium that was filled with tens of thousands of Vietnam veterans, and they were surrounded by young people and family members and young veterans, and they were being honored. They were being celebrated. They were being welcomed home. And then the vision zoomed in on this one Vietnam vet, and I saw his face, and tears were just streaming down his face because he was truly feeling that acceptance and that public tribute for the first time. I saw that and felt God's tremendous presence, and I knew very clearly what he was calling me to do. And so that is what the Heroes Honor Festival has become. It is the biggest, baddest, most patriotic celebration and welcome home in American history. And we are going to honor these guys in the most patriotic way possible and love them like the hands and feet of Jesus would.
Who was there? Who was a part of this amazing festival to honor our heroes? We
were really blessed with the patriots and the God-loving folks that partnered with us in this. The event was sponsored by Toyota and Fox Nation, Harley Davidson. We also, we had Ann Margaret and Chris Noel there, who were a part of the Bob Hope tours, and the guys just loved that. It was amazing to have country artists like Craig Morgan, Justin Moore, Toby Keith, Just incredible patriots, and of course, an appearance from Governor DeSantis, who we all just know and love. It was really something. And then, of course, from the military side, Oliver North, who served in Vietnam, as well as General Jerry Boykin and General Patrick Brady. So, I mean, just some of the most incredible men to serve this nation's uniform, and for them to make the effort to come really meant a lot.
Wow. You just mentioned those Bob Hope special honoring festivals for the troops, and I actually had a chance to be a part of one of those. You're not going to believe this, but this was back when I was on Growing Pains, and actually I was there and was able to shake hands with Ronald Reagan, with Jimmy Stewart, with Lucille Ball, Bob Hope, Danny Thomas. It was like what you're saying happened this last weekend, but back in the day. And so I'm so thankful that you are resurrecting this kind of a festival to honor our servicemen and servicewomen who are sacrificing and serving so much. I hope I get a chance to be there with you the next time that you do this. Is this going to be an annual event? What are the plans for the future?
Yeah, I think we're weighing that right now. You know, a big heart for us, Kirk, is that we have our partnering organizations for mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual care for these guys that is all happening in the follow-up right now. So we have, 9/11 veterans, we have Desert Storm veterans, Panama, Vietnam veterans, because the event was free to all veterans and their spouses. So we have thousands to follow up with, which we are in the throes of doing right now. And that's reaching out to them and how can we serve you? How can we pray with you? What needs do you have that we can get you plugged into? And so we want to really honor that commitment of follow-up really well, and see how that ministry plays out, and then we're going to really see what God has for us next.
I love that plan. That's what counts. That's where the rubber meets the road. You're not just thinking about the next big, exciting fireworks event. You're really looking to meet the needs of the veterans who came and who will be coming, because that's what your organization is all about.
Yes, sir.
Ben, I sense that you're the real deal, and I'm so thankful to be talking with you, to be learning from you and your example. Here at Takeaways, we're always trying to find little actionable steps that we can take out of these conversations that will make a difference today, this week, this month, to bring a little more of heaven to earth as believers, as members of the family of faith. What can we be doing as everyday people to support our service members today?
I think our military needs a lot of prayer. The decisions that have been made recently for the rules around the military have been tragic. And there have been so many military members who have felt the need to leave the military, to get out, to retire early. And it's heartbreaking for so many people who love serving this country. So I think there's an element of prayer. And then there's also an element of understanding that if you have military in your family, to not try to fix them, but just love them and let them know that you are there. And so it's text messages, it's phone calls, just checking in. How are you doing? How can I love on you today? Just want you to know I'm here. And I think that's what's so hard for military is we're not good at showing our weaknesses, but when we know that someone is present and they're truly committed to being in our lives and showing up, we're more prone to opening up. And that's what people did for me when I came home from Iraq. They would just check in and check in and check in with me. And that was a catalyst to my healing. And so that's what we can do as Americans.
That's a great takeaway. Ben, I want to thank you again for your service and how you're continuing to serve our military, our veterans, and their families with a message of hope and healing.